Hey, it's Molly. Today on Frosted, I'm going to be making a beautiful butterscotch pecan cake. It combines rich butterscotch-soaked cake layers and a beautiful brown butter frosting all coated in toasted pecans. We're going to start by combining all of our dry ingredients in a big mixing bowl. Flour, salt, baking powder, baking soda. Give this a good whisk, make sure everything is nice and combined. Next, we're going to cream our butter and sugar. Beat this on high until it's nice, light, and fluffy. Now we're going to add our eggs. Make sure to do this one at a time so that each egg can incorporate itself before you add the next. Add your vanilla and then your rum if you're using it, and make sure everything is nice and mixed before you add your flour. Add your dry ingredients a little bit at a time so that it doesn't fly everywhere, and make sure your mixer is on low. Now we're going to alternate our dry ingredients and our buttermilk. So start by adding a little bit of your dry, and once that's incorporated, a little bit of your buttermilk. You can do this in about 4 or 5 steps. Okay, so we have 3 8-inch cake pans here, and I've greased them, covered them in parchment, and greased them again. And now I'm going to divide our beautiful, thick, luscious cake batter into all 3. You can eyeball this, you can measure, whatever you're most comfortable with. Just make sure they're nice and even. After you spread your cake batter, give it a nice tap to release any air bubbles that might be hiding under there. Let's get these into the oven and bake them until they're nice and golden brown, and this should take about 40 minutes. Okay, now we're gonna make our brown butter butterscotch. So we're gonna start by melting a stick of butter and letting it become this nutty, fragrant, one-ingredient sauce that can transform any recipe. So the sputtering that you see and hear right now is just the water evaporating from the butter, leaving the milk solids behind. And they're gonna turn brown and become really nutty and fragrant and gonna add so much to our cake. Okay, so as you can see here, we have some browning happening, and we're just gonna keep mixing, and the browner it gets, the more flavor we're gonna get, but we wanna be careful not to burn it. So keep an eye on it. So we've got our brown butter here. It's so nutty and fragrant, and to this we're gonna add some more dark brown sugar and some salt and some heavy cream. And this is what is going to make our delicious butterscotch sauce. Okay, so get everything nice and mixed, very well incorporated. We're gonna get this boiling for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna put it in our KitchenAid bowl to cool. So we're starting to boil here. We're gonna let this go for a full 2 minutes, making sure to stir so that nothing gets stuck or burnt on the bottom. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. We're gonna transfer this into our KitchenAid mixing bowl to cool completely. First, get some cream cheese room temperature in a bowl and sift some powdered sugar. Using what you have on hand, cream this until light and fluffy, about 3 minutes. Okay, this is nice and light and fluffy, and we're gonna move on to our butterscotch. Okay, so our butterscotch is nice and cool. To this, I'm gonna mix it on low speed and add our butter 1 tablespoon at a time. Try to let each tablespoon incorporate itself into the butterscotch sauce before adding the next one. Okay, this looks great. It is beautiful, light in color because of the butter, thick, and now we're gonna add our cream cheese component to this frosting and start assembling our cake. I know this is a labor of love, but I assure you it is well worth it. The flavors in this frosting are gonna just take this cake to the next level. So go ahead and mix these until well combined. Okay, so this is nice and incorporated. Now it needs to sit in the fridge for 2 hours to overnight. We have our cake layers, they're cooled. We've just sliced the top of them off just to give us a nice open surface. And to that, we're gonna add some of our homemade butterscotch sauce. It's a very simple, straightforward butterscotch sauce that's available on our website. Add your butterscotch sauce to your cake layers and spread evenly to the edges. This just makes for an added extra layer of flavor, of decadence, and really gonna bring this cake over the top. Okay, great. We're gonna get these into the fridge to cool completely, and then we're gonna assemble our cake. All right, guys, we are almost there. We are about to assemble our cake. It's our final step. I've got our cooled layers with our cooled butterscotch, and now we're gonna frost with our delicious brown butter butterscotch cream cheese frosting. We're gonna use about a cup per layer. We're being very generous here with the frosting. Next layer. Okay, this is our last layer, and we're gonna put this one upside down and sandwich that nice frosting with this butterscotch sauce. So give it a nice little press down. This looks amazing already, and we're gonna use the rest of our frosting to coat the top and sides. Use our offset here and create some swoopy swoops. Okay, so we've got some toasted chopped pecans here, and we're just gonna press them up against the side of the cake. Okay, so I've coated the sides with my chopped pecans, and now I'm going to use pecan halves to design the top. You can get creative here and do any kind of design that you want. Okay, here we have it, a beautiful butterscotch pecan layer cake. It is sure to please everyone and anyone. I hope you enjoy.